Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another episode of the Self Improvement Playlist. This is a video that I never planned on doing. I actually got this idea after reading um, the most recent book that I just read. It is a really good book. It is called One of Us is Lying, and it is a really good book. I wouldn't like just go over and spoil the whole book if you're planning on reading it. So I will just say what I understood from reading that book after finishing that one book, the whole book, almost towards the end. I realized this one thing. I realized that peer pressure is a pure evil. It's a devil. And I thought, why not just make a video on that? Well, if I want to make a video on the topic peer pressure, there are so many ways I can talk about it. So many different ways I can talk about it. First, initially, what I thought was that I would talk on the topic peer pressure as like a real talk on the vlog playlist, but then it is not exactly a vlog. And if I talk on this topic, I'm going a little deep, is what I thought. That is like the most initial thoughts that I got after deciding on the topic. So I started writing my own script. I started writing the script from yesterday evening. I finished the whole script in the morning today. This whole paper talks about everything what peer pressure is. I had to do a lot of research. I had to Google a lot of stuff. I had to go through a few websites. I had to cross check. But I love the whole process. And this is a topic that not many talk about, either on the internet or in real life with their friends, with their family, with anyone. So let's get started. Starting off with chapter number 1. What is peer pressure? First, let's understand what exactly peer pressure means, okay? Now, according to me, peer pressure is when a group of people force or influence other people to do things they don't want to do things they're uncomfortable in doing. Okay. According to Google, this is the research I did and I have it on this paper right now. According to Google, it's the influence from members of one's peer group. According to Oxford Dictionary, it's the psychological and social influence exerted on individual members by the peer pressure group to encourage conformity to the group's behavioral norms. In simpler words, peer pressure is a lot of toxicity. Now, since we know a little bit about what peer pressure actually is, let's talk a little bit on that, right? Peer pressure is not just for people my age, not just for people our age, not just for you, not just for me. It's for everyone all over the world. Even if you know them, even if you don't know them, if they talk to you, if they don't talk to you, everyone is going through peer pressure. And we at times just don't seem to give much attention to that part of the society because we just like it's a normal thing that's happening. Peer pressure is becoming a common occurrence in the society these days, thinking it's alright to do peer pressure, it's alright for people to experience peer pressure, it's alright for everyone to peer pressure themselves or others to fit in or stuff like that. But let me tell you, peer pressure is something nobody should deal with. And when I talk about peer pressure, or when anyone talks about peer pressure, the only thing that comes in our mind is the negative side of the peer pressure, because that is what is more dominant in the society right now. Negative peer pressure are in so many different ways. While focusing on the negative side of peer pressure, we tend to forget the positive side of peer pressure. I know, as soon as I said this, you're like, oh, positive side of peer pressure, I've never heard of it. I didn't hear of it too until I did my research. That's true. Because now that people have started to come all over and then just categorize stuff into positive and negative, there is positive peer pressure that is less dominant than the negative peer pressure. And just like I said, peer pressure is not just for teenagers like us. Peer pressure is experienced with kids younger than us who are studying in lower grades. They do face peer pressure. I've seen students in my own school who faced peer pressure like that. Adults like elder than us, people older than us also face peer pressure. It's just in different areas in life. It's different parts of the society that you face peer pressure. Okay, now let's take a child who's facing peer pressure when he or she is in first or second grade. What is the peer pressure that kid is facing? I know what you're saying. It's a kid. Like, no peer pressure. There is peer pressure. We just don't notice it. In first or second grade, what is the maximum peer pressure that a kid can face? Forcefully punishing that child to finish their homework or do something that they don't actually want to do just because the school should assign it to that kid. That is peer pressure, according to me. Because when that child does not want to do something, don't force it. You don't have to force stuff. You don't have to force people to do something because it's going to end up in a very bad way. The same thing with kids our age, teenagers. What's the peer pressure we're facing? This is the worst part. I can agree on this because teenagers these days are very, very, very focused on their appearance, on their social status, because they want to look like a person who's the cool guy or the cool girl just to fit into that cool group of people. You don't have to be that. You don't have to be that. Another example of teenagers who face peer pressure is forcing them forcing teenage girls to apply makeup, to maintain their weight, to wear something that is not so revealing, or blah blah blah. There are a lot of stuff. And peer pressure for boys are that you've got to go to gym, you've got to keep your health, blah blah blah. I get it. And I know they get it too. Those teenagers get it too. And you don't have to force stuff into them. You don't have to peer pressure them to do something they've not done before, good or bad. Let them do whatever they want. Because whatever it is, they're going to learn something out of it. Though it is good, though it is bad, they are learning from it. If it's bad, they're not going to repeat it again. If they repeat it, they're dumb enough to repeat it. So if it's good, they're going to keep doing it. And they learn. Do not peer pressure, because teenage is an age where we are uncertain about ourselves. We are uncertain about stuff that's happening around us. And you cannot just peer pressure that kid who literally doesn't know what's happening to themselves or to anyone around them. You can't just peer pressure that person. Like, it's a kid. Like, everyone's growing. We're all here the first time on earth, and you can't just peer pressure each other on saying, oh, you've got to do that, you've got to do that. Do it. You do it. You're the one who's supervising that person. You do it. Why not give it a shot? Now, what do you think? Oh no, you're pressuring me to this. You're doing the same thing. You're literally doing the same thing to that person. Stop peer pressuring anyone. Peer pressuring in work, in an adult life, can be putting more work on that person, giving them more work to do just because they're good at it. That is peer pressure. That is peer pressure. That turns into depression. That turns into so many wrong, different, bad ways that people do not notice it enough. Chapter number 2: different types of peer pressure. Now, just like I said, since people started categorizing things into positive and negatives, there is positive peer pressure and negative peer pressure. So, let's see what are some negative peer pressures. Okay, negative peer pressures can be direct peer pressuring. It could be bullying, using of alcohol. It could be bully other peers, cheating, engaging in risky behaviors, addiction, anxiety, and depression. The list goes on. I just listed out some of the negative peer pressures like direct peer pressuring, bullying, using drugs or alcohol. These have become so common these days. Let's look at some positive peer pressures. Positive peer pressures can look like encouraging someone to study harder for better grades, joining a sports team, or participating in a community service project. And there are some other positive peer pressures that might bring you a change for the good, that might change you for the good, that might teach you something for the good, that you might do for the good. And it's basically for the good. Positive peer pressure is for the good. It's for the good of you and only you. And you will understand that after a while. And if you think, if you misunderstand negative peer pressure into a positive one, you need therapy. Because negative peer pressure goes in so many wrong, bad ways. It's going to end up in a very, very, very bad situation, in a very bad place. And in that time, in that place, you will have no one to support you, because all those people who negatively peer pressured you to do that stuff, they're not going to stand for you, because they know it's wrong, they know it's bad, and they're not going to support you for it. They just pushed you into that room, like just peer pressuring you to do it, and then now you stepped into that room and you look back for them, but the door is locked. No way out. So if you see someone bullying a person, stop them. Stop them from getting bullied, and stop that person who's bullying this person, because that person is a real piece of shit. He or she doesn't even know the worth of this person. And it's just stupidity. It's just pure stupidity. Chapter number 3 are the effects of peer pressure, both positive and negative. Let's see some effects of positive peer pressuring, some positive effects of positive peer pressuring. It can evolve a sense of belonging. You could feel better about it. If imagine you just got asked to, you just got told to join a sport. Okay, join a sports team at school, and you did do that. A lot of pressure from your friends. They're like, come on, man, you can do this. You're going to win the team. We're all going to win. And then you joined. And after a few months, when it's almost time for school to end, you're going to miss that sport. You're missing that sport so bad that you wish you joined the sport earlier, way earlier enough. Because you enjoyed it, every bit of it. That is a positive effect of positive peer pressure. Some other positive effects can also be advice and encouragement. If someone is advising you to do something, someone is encouraging you to do something, encouraging you to do the good stuff, it's positive. It's a positive effect of positive peer pressure. Enhance self confidence, reinforcement of positive habits and attitude, etc. So, reinforcement of positive habits and attitude could be something like, well, a live example I can say one of my friends, uh, she was a completely different person before we became friends. She was a completely different person, like totally different person. Um, she had a rude attitude towards her peers. Because she scored good grades and she was one of the top 5 students in the whole class, she had a rude attitude towards everyone else, that she was very picky in selecting her group, a friend circle. I was never a part of that circle. If I'm being honest here, I was never a part of that circle. We were friends in and out for so many years, and almost towards the end of school, 2 years before it, we became friends because her behavior changed. She had a new attitude towards people. She had a different behavior that was good, and I liked it. I like that about her. I've seen that same girl have a rude attitude, have a bad attitude back like years ago, and now she's turning good. Then I don't think there's anything wrong just accepting her as my friend and just put her into my circle. That's where things change. When you feel positive about someone, just talk to them, let them know. Just tell them, hey, I feel really good when I'm around you. I think you're a really good person and you light up my day. Because you'll never know how much that holds power and meaning in their heart for you, but it does wonders. Just confess stuff. Now let's look at some negative effects of negative peer pressures. A dip in self-esteem. I've seen a lot of this in my school. It's just that you look at other people in your class, you look at other people in the school. They have a fancy bag, you don't have a fancy bag, but you have an affordable bag that is durable. You're still feeling the ick because you don't have that fancy bag that you want but not need. You have the needy bag right here, and you're still envying it in a negative way, and you're lowering your self-esteem. And I also said this back in the chapter 2, in the previous chapter, that you surrender your thoughts to that person who's bullying you, who's proving you wrong, just for the sake of fun in their own life. If you do that, your self esteem is literally nowhere to be found. And it's hard to bring it back up until and unless you have a positive friend who encourages you. Bad impact on grades, you can adapt harmful habits, self harm, etc. Wow. Just that, I have another example from my school. A person who was a part of my friend group went through a negative effect. She again was, she actually, okay, man, I never thought I would be talking about her as an example on my channel up here. But everyone thought she's a really nice person. Everyone thought she's a very joyful, very fun, very outgoing girl in the whole class. And almost people like, just because she was outwardly joyful and fun, people started bullying her in my own class. That People started bullying her of her appearance. People started bullying her of mainly her appearance, but that was too bad. That was extremely bad. And they started bullying her about her relationships, her social status, etc., etc. She was There was this one time where we all met up. We were a small group that time. That she told me about this. She told me how bad she felt about it. She told me how rude people are towards her in real life and through the internet. That she went through self harm once, and that was real bad. I had to tell people to stop acting that way towards her, and for that period of time they did stop because you've got to voice out for the good. You've got to voice out for the good people, because you don't know whom you're helping out and whom you're just stopping the bad to continue from. Okay, well, let me tell you, after all of this and after all of the good memories, the good stuff, and blah 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 whatnot, she turned out to be a different person than who I thought. So things had to change. And it's okay for it to change. It's okay for change to happen. If you haven't checked that video yet, please check it down. I'll link it in the description below. It's a video I posted last week on Wednesday. It says changes everything, changes life. It's a video under the Positive Talk playlist. Don't forget to check that out. Now that we know something about peer pressure, something more about peer pressure, you can say, we know what peer pressure is, we know the different types of peer pressure, we know the positive and negative effects it has on us. Now, let's see the ways we can identify and overcome peer pressure. Chapter number 4: Identification and how to overcome peer pressure. Now, identification is a quite simple process actually. If you pay attention, if you have a clear mindset, if you're calm and composed, it's easy to identify if someone or you yourself are facing peer pressure, because the only things that I got on identification of peer pressure is very less. Like, I googled it up and I got these three. Number one, behavioral changes, which means shifting in social circles or adopting a new habit or adopting new behaviors, making decisions that go against personal values. Behavioral changes basically talks about having like a negative change in yourself or a negative change in that particular person. Imagine you're bullying a person for so long, like almost more than a year, and now that person has a completely different attitude. Even if you go and talk to that person in a normal, casual way, like, hey, how are you doing? They're so pissed off because they have been bullied for over a year, and when someone tries to enter their circle, they're so offended. They just start shouting at you or yelling at you. Number 2 is social shifts and the desire to fit in or avoid. This is a very, very crazy thing because most people do this, and it's either because of peer pressure or because they're doing the right thing, like they're aware of it. Because change in attitude, like social shifts and desire to fit in or avoid. This is just the example what I gave. Like, they've been bullied for so long that even if you go talk to that person normally, they feel like you're going to bully them, so they like push you out. Like, they're like, you don't have to come into my circle because you're gonna bully me too. Well, you didn't do that. You didn't want to do that. But they've just gone through this whole thing on and on again for over a year, and obviously they're gonna feel it. That's what peer pressure does. It makes you believe into something that is not true. They're going to make you do things according to them that makes them happy. And you know what they're going to say? Oh, I did it all for fun. What? Bully people and push them into a space where nobody wants to talk to them, or they don't want to talk to nobody? That's disgustingly bad. Some other identification is when they have bad anxiety and they are too depressed, because let me tell you, it's bad anxiety and peer pressure, especially when you're a teenager. You've got to overcome it ASAP, because growing up you're gonna face a lot, and if you contain to this and if you remain with this whole vibe of anxiety and depression and the negative and the bullying part, it's gonna be really hard when you grow up. So if you feel you're depressed, if you feel like someone's depressed or someone's having anxiety, please, like, just talk to them, let them know about it, and just listen and validate their feelings too, because they have stuff to talk. Trust me, they have stuff to talk. Just because they don't feel right to talk about it in front of those people who are bullying them doesn't mean they don't have anything to talk. Everyone, even the most talkative ones, has the deepest, darkest feelings, and they've been hurt, and everyone's been hurt, and not in the same way, but they don't usually tell it very easily. And if someone does tell you that, don't let them go. Please don't let them go, because they relied on you, they really trusted in you, that they told you that hurtful moment of their face that they didn't tell anyone else. So if you're gonna play games with that, karma is a boomerang. Don't forget that. Now that we're almost done with the identification, I feel good. Like, identification part made me feel really good here. Because I don't know, it just feels good. Wow. Now that identification part is done, the last part that is left to do is overcome it. How do you overcome it? So, understanding its impact and developing strategies to resist negative influences. Basically, what this sentence says and means is that you've got to have a calm and composed mindset. Only if you do that, you will start identifying if you're facing peer pressure or if someone else is facing peer pressure. And once you identify it, you'll start to think about ways to come out of it. You'll start to think about different ways to stop feeling that way, which is basically overcoming that emotion, overcoming that situation, which is absolutely a great step. So let's see some strategies, some key steps that you can take to overcome peer pressuring. And we're obviously talking about negative peer pressure here, because if it's a positive peer pressure, you don't have to overcome it, man. Just go through it. Just have fun. Number one is understanding peer pressure. Once again, peer pressure is not a simple thing to deal with. It's not a simple thing to understand. It's not a dish to just go through the ingredients. It is a lot more than that. So if you did not understand what peer pressure is, what it really means, go back to the beginning of this video and play it from the start. Or you can just go through a lot of other YouTube videos, Google, websites, and if they're also not helping you, start journaling. Just please start journaling, because that is the only way to anything, literally anything, positive, negative, any changes in your life. If you start journaling, you'll see the pattern, and if you see some dip down, come back up. because you're going diving down. You don't have to dive down, you've got to fly high up, not down, not the other way. And why I'm saying journaling will do this wonder is because it did this to me. I was never a journal girl. I never journaled before. I only wrote diary entries about all my feelings. Diary entries also help. Your personal diaries, they also help. But journaling has a way, like it's a whole different world. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new world. And I'm really great that I put journaling on my vision board right here. Oh my god, where is it? Okay, right here. So I put up journaling right here. And I started journaling continuously and spontaneously from the very beginning. Not from the very beginning, I may say, but from April. From April, I did get a journal from one of my classmates, which was a great sign for me to please start my journal journey. So journal really helps you to identify your emotions. And one other thing is something really beautiful and something really fun, because I am doing it currently, and that's really fun. It is nothing other than making just two different categories or notes in your notes app. One that says things that make me happy, and the other that says things that make me sad. I learned this from one of my favorite YouTubers' video, and I've been doing it ever since. And I think I have more than a good amount of things that make me happy and a good amount of things that make me sad. So now, anything or the other, if I want something, or if something's happening currently to me or to anyone else, obviously to me. What am I talking about? So if something's happening to me, I can just go through that list and see if it's a good thing or bad thing that's going to end me up in, right? So you can either start journaling, or you can have two categories that says things that make me happy, things that make me sad in your notes app. And I think this is more than enough to identify if you actually are getting depressed and if you're actually jumping into this slump. Two is building self-esteem. Building self-esteem is a real big thing, because once you were in that slump, you've got to get out of the slump. You've got to clean and then build up again. It is quite a big process, but you can do it. It's not a long process. It's a big process, and I am sure you'll be doing it. And I am sure you'll be able to do it. Number three is practice saying no. I remember saying this in my first video. It was also the last chapter of that video of that topic. Just say no. If you feel that's going to end wrong, bad, or if you think that is not going to serve you, if you think that's not a great investment, just say no. Just say no. Okay, let me give you an example to make you understand really well. Let's just say that teachers at school peer pressure you to do a project with the group of people you're not comfortable with. Just say no. Say no. Just say, ma'am, I don't want to do it. I'm not comfortable with them. I would rather do it alone or with the people who I'm comfortable with. Just say that. Just say that, and you'll see the difference. Because when you don't speak up for yourself, especially for yourself, when are you ever going to learn to speak up for you then? People are just going to push you down on and on again. And at one point in life, it'll be hard for you to come back up. So start speaking for yourself right now. Number four, find positive influences. Wow. This is quite easy, honestly, especially in a world where devices are used and people connect all over the world through internet. It's easy to find positive influences if you feel it's positive. I repeat, it's easy to find positive influences if you feel positive, you feel served, you feel deserved. One positive influence that I can think of right now she's an influencer on social media. She's a real nice person, as much as I know. And this is my opinion completely. If anyone has any other different view on that person, you can skip this part of this. You can skip the short part of this video. She's Spencer Barbosa, and I came across her last year. She's a really positive influence, and I feel great after coming across her. I feel thankful. I feel grateful after coming across her, because there were some parts of me that felt so bad about myself that does not feel the same after I started following her. I'm not saying you should be following people like that, but just have a positive outlook and just follow people who have a positive outlook on their own lives and on others' lives, because that can make a huge difference. Peer pressuring is basically about the people around you, and this can be the positive in your life. So choosing the right people makes a huge difference in your life that you will not know in the current situation, but when you look back on this time after like a couple of years, you will see the difference and you will be grateful for it or regret it. Number 5 is seek support. Seek support is basically talking out. It's opening up to the people whom you think really deserve to know what you're going through. It could be your family, it could be your closest friends that you truly believe in. And if you don't have friends like that, it's fine. You don't have to tell them everything. You don't have to force yourself to tell them, because again, you're peer pressuring yourself. If nothing works out, go to the therapist. That might help you. Um, yeah, that's all. That's basically seeking support, I think. That's it. Number 6 is other strategies. Other strategies I have up here Googled. They are being mindful of your emotions, consider your values, avoid situations where you're likely to be pressured. Again, avoid situations where you're likely to be pressured. You can identify this once you have that list made on your notes app, or once you start journaling, because either of those are going to help you identify them, identify what you're going through, identify what trap you're stepping into, and then you can just back off from it. You can just say no and back off from it. That's it. Using humor or distraction. Wow, humor or distraction. The fact that I have gone through this stuff and it really changed myself, changed a lot. Like, oh my god, humor. The last couple days, like I said, April, the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of April was really bad for me. And I started watching comedy shows. I started watching stand-up comedy on YouTube. A couple people like Matriv, Abhishek, Nirmal, and they just really helped. I started laughing a lot watching their videos. I had a lot of fun. I still watch them. I still have a lot of fun. I love them so much because their jokes, their comedy just changed my whole emotion. Just rewired my mindset, you can say. Rewired my brain to think that slump is a temporary one. You're going into a permanent, idiotic situation. Knowing your boundaries and practicing knowing your boundaries and practicing conflict resolution can also help in overcoming peer pressure. Knowing your boundaries is again a task you've got to work on yourself with, because we don't pay attention to it. I'm telling you, dude, like, this is a friendly talk with you. Guys, if you're listening to me right now, we don't pay attention to anything in life. And that's true. You know why? Because did you know you've gone through peer pressure until you clicked on this video? Absolutely not. Did you know what boundaries you have set for people until I just read this point out? Absolutely not. We've got to pay more attention to these things, because we just focus on the bright side of the life where the sun's shining and everyone. I get it. I absolutely get it. Just have a look at the dark side too. Have a look at the dark side, and if you're going through it, come out of it. And if someone's going through it, help them come out of it. And if not, none of it, then just know about it and just stay away from it. It's all knowledge. It's all knowledge. Everything's knowledge. Everything's knowledge. You've got to just take it from your brain and use it in the right way at the right time. So, it's the end of this video. It's the end of this episode. I feel so good after doing this episode. Wow. I've said this before. I love doing the self-improvement playlist. I love all the topics that I've planned and sorted out. But this topic, peer pressure, I have it written down here. This topic was something I never planned on doing ever when I started my YouTube channel. Trust me when I say this, I never thought I would be talking about peer pressure so much. Almost like 50 minutes into the video. Obviously, this is the raw clip, so it's 15 minutes. But here we are. Topic closed. And I'm happy about it. I'm happy that I spoke on a topic we don't dive deep into, and I want you to dive deep into, because this is a topic that will never leave us behind. It will stick on throughout the very end, and even after the very end, but you won't be here to experience it. So if you haven't liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, turn on the notifications, because if I post any new video, you will be the first one to get updated. So don't forget to do that. And if you have Any comments or any suggestions, any video ideas, or any video that you want to see from my side, just comment down below. I'll go through your comments and I'll reply to them and I will try doing them. So that is all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understood what peer pressure is. I hope you understood what the types are, their effects on us, how you identify and overcome them. Just relax. This is a very treasuring topic, but trust me, once your mind is calm and composed and relaxed, nothing is so treasuring. Literally nothing. See you guys in the next video.